Everyone's like, oh, I got my payout. I did it. I'm like, that's okay. Now you got to do 1,000 more.
Trading is not a money printer, as much as the kids like to say that. It's a money multiplier. It takes money to make money with props, with live accounts.
Part of the problem of the prop space in general is it's allowed people to take payouts when they haven't really earned it yet, in my opinion. I just think base hits are the name of the game in the prop space. Like the home run mentality just doesn't serve you well. Yes, of course, it's nice here and there, but now we're even seeing when you ripping those home runs, dude, some of these firms aren't paying it. Cough, cough, top step.
Prop trading is like a more of a mechanism to actually learn the markets and learn to trade, which is everybody goes through that phase too. Then I think evals are better.
Anything in life, if you give your effort for 5 years and you aren't seeing insane progress by then, more than likely that thing's not for you.
What's up, traders? Welcome back to the podcast. We got a special episode today. We're calling this the Prop Firm State of the Union. I think this is going to be an intense conversation, hopefully with some controversial points made to educate the audience. I think the goal here is we've got a lot of experience across from prop firm CEO to guys that are running massive communities. So the goal is going to be to give you guys as much information as possible. We want the new traders to make informed decisions and the experienced traders to hopefully find maybe a new way to take some payouts. Because prop trading is exploded in the last couple of years. And as educators, as people running communities, we know that very, very well. Some of us got on the train a little bit later, but we're happy to be here. So before we just jump right in, let me introduce everybody and then we'll rock out. So on my right, I got Chris Drysdale. Chris and I have done a couple podcasts together. Chris has an amazing community. Chris is a author as well, the VWAP Wave book, and another book coming very soon. I've got Tanner Owings here. Tanner and I just did a podcast. You guys have probably seen that. Also a very frequent member of the show, so we're happy to have Tanner back. Same thing for Zach. Zach and Clay were both with me last year when we did these podcasts. Zach streams every day on YouTube, The Real Deal Futures. And then we've got Clay, CEO, founder, Top One Futures, Top One Trader. So boys, where should we start? Well,
We're back.
we're back, dude.
We're back, baby.
We're on our way to Colombia. Sad Chris isn't coming with us, but maybe next year. We're in Florida today to jump in and hopefully save the prop space from some losses and then get some of our guys that are already taking payouts making more money. We're going to talk about some of the drama and the ways that prop firms have fucked traders over, to put it not lightly.
No.
And then we'll talk about the things where I think some of us have seen people in our community find holes and ways to make more money. So I'll kick it off with an interesting question to start the controversy. The industry started with evaluations. Everybody was like, you have to take a challenge to get funded. And then once you're funded, you can get paid. Then 2 years ago, the industry shifted a little bit and instant funded accounts came out. Now we see evals becoming very popular. So I'll pass it to Zach first, our resident knowledge base of all things prop firms. Zach, prop firms are an easy way to scale up your trading. Do you think it's easier with instant funded or with evals, with challenges?
It's a good question. I'm glad to be the resident knowledge base for prop firms.
Well, you really
here.
are, bro. Nobody knows more than you.
I try.
These
I try
guys
to
are
do.
here for the good looks. You're here for the knowledge.
I try to do the research. I trade it myself. It's a good question. I don't know that there's one that's easier or better than the other. I really do like both models. I think the instant funded side fits really well if you just want to skip the eval altogether, go right towards trading money that you stand to withdraw. You're going to have some drawbacks, right? It's a double-edged sword. There's no real free lunch in the entire space. You're going to have tighter consistency rule. You're going to have a higher upfront cost, probably more trading days to pay out and in-between payouts. What we've seen with a lot of the eval models, not to jump right into some of the stuff that we've been seeing more and more from firms with getting through an eval that's inexpensive pretty quickly, and then some really advantageous rules in the funded account, like daily payouts, no consistency rule, some with wider caps, some with tighter caps, but no minimum trading days to pay out now on a lot of these. So I'm a big fan of both. I think it does depend on the trader. If I had to pick, gun to my head, I would go eval. I think I would prefer to get through the eval pretty quickly and then get to a funded account maybe with some wider rules.
Do you think instant funded is still unknown, or do you think people know about it and it's just people are still choosing the eval based on price?
I think the eval models have really kind of come full circle where they've gotten more and more aggressive, right? So it was, maybe a longer eval, and they started to get shorter and shorter. And then once you got into the funded account, maybe you still had a consistency rule, or you had a lot of minimum trading days to pay out 5 minimum profitable trading days. And so a lot of traders saw instant funded and they said, well, I'm going to have to trade for 5 days anyway. Now the eval models have gotten even more aggressive with some of these no consistency daily payout styles where you can copy trade and scale even if there is a payout cap. So I think people do know that the instant funded's there. Some of them are always going to pick it. They just want to go right into it. They're comfortable with more money. They can deal with some of that, downside of consistency rule. But the eval as a forefront really in the futures prop space has gotten super aggressive. So,
Tanner, one of the biggest mistakes that I see traders making is they're choosing their prop firm based on emotion instead of logic. They're chasing cheap accounts, flashy payouts, or whatever somebody posted on Twitter without understanding the rules, the drawdown mechanics, or whether the account even fits how they trade. That's why I'm really excited to announce today's sponsor is Prop Firm Match. Prop Firm Match lets you compare over 40 different vetted prop firms on the stuff that actually matters, like trailing versus static drawdown, payout rules, copy trading limits, pricing, and long-term scalability all in one place. PropFirmMatch.com. What I also really like is firms that I've actually traded with, like Top One Futures, are listed on Prop Firm Match as some of the top firms for 2026. So you're not just getting random rankings, you're seeing real, relevant options that serious traders are using. Now, if you're treating your trading like a real business and you're not trying to gamble between account roulette to hope your payouts hit, head to PropFirmMatch.com, do your research, and then use the code MATCH at whatever prop firm you choose to save the most money possible. Again, PropFirmMatch.com, compare your firms, and then hit that code MATCH with whatever firm you'd like to save on your next challenge. Now let's get back to the video.
I'm a fan personally of straight to funded.
okay.
And that is just because, again, it's personal preference. I really think that's what it comes down to. Because I always see two sides of the coin. You got the people complaining about consistency rules. Personally, they have helped me more than anything take more payouts, honestly. Because I noticed when I didn't have a consistency rule, sometimes it's never enough, especially when it's sim profits, right? Like, well, this could have been 5K, this could have been 10, I could have sent this, could have sent that. And it leads really into that bad mindset. I don't think it really builds a lot of consistency in trading. And yeah, you can build up these big balances, take some big payouts doing that, right? But I personally have found more success doing straight to funded with a 20% consistency rule because I come in, I make my money, and I leave. And like, that's it. Or I lose money for the day, whatever it is. And actually, ironically, I'm experiencing this right now. And I think this is going to be one of the hottest takes is I kind of like the ESS score.
What?
I'm not going to lie. I
Really?
swear it's actually helped me be less degen because when it comes to so for those out there, ESS score is something that Top One Futures has on a couple of their.
You're the only ones that have it, right?
I think the only ones that have it. Yeah.
There's some other
there?
firms. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's called an equity stability score, and basically it takes your best day and your worst day, and that creates your consistency score overall that you need to hit. So I hadn't really traded many of those. I was just doing the straight consistency where it's 20%, and of course when it's like that, I'll give numbers as an example. I'd shoot to make 2K on a 150K account. And max loss in the day would also be like 2K, right? But the max loss set on most of those accounts is like 3,600. So you have a day where you just happen to like not respect that and blow it, and then you lose 3,600. Now you're 2 days behind with a consistency rule, right? So that kind of helped me initially be like, okay, like
I get that.
hit your consistency,
Absolutely.
whatever.
Yeah.
Now with the ESS, it's like when I hit my max loss on it that I've set personally, I'm like, dude, you're literally going to run yourself into the ground and make it harder to take the payout if you break this rule.
So stop.
So now it's an automatic stop. It's not even a question. So I noticed myself actually being a bit more disciplined. I'm like, yo, I kind of like this in a weird way, even
That's a
though it
hot
is
take.
hard. I swear it's a hot take.
And I don't
But-
think you explained it exactly. The ESS basically takes your winning days and your losing days. The consistency score is just your winning days.
just your winning days,
That's
correct,
for the listeners. That's to understand.
Correct. So
he's got to cap his downside, is what he's saying,
Correct.
and that's helping him be less of a degenerate.
Exactly. So the math on that, let's say $1,000 is your best day, $1,000 is your worst day. It's still a $2,000 consistency score with the ESS.
Okay.
But for me, I'm like, okay, I need to make 10K in order to take, this payout or whatever it
Right.
is. So in my head, it's like, no matter what, I'm like, you can't try to go for one more when you hit your max loss and be like, and then get to that 3,600 threshold. Because now it's turning into, you got to make 20 grand or
You know it's
something
gonna kill you.
ridiculous. So it's easy for me to be like, no, that's not worth it. That's stupid.
Right.
So I kind of mess with that. I kind of like that a little bit. But again, for me personally, straight to funded, the consistency scores, I just think base hits are the name of the game in the prop space. Like the home run mentality just doesn't serve you well. Yes, of course, it's nice here and there, but now we're even seeing when you ripping those home runs, dude, some of these firms aren't paying it. Cough, cough, top step. Like I'm getting stuck right now with my 3 XFAs that, not that they hit home runs, but like, dude, I had 3 days where I did 10K in each of those accounts. And now they're locked up because all this metal BS, and I didn't even trade metals, and they're accusing me of hedging a combine, all this, all the bullshit. And I'm just like,
we'll come back to it. We'll come back to the drama.
That,
I want to go to Chris, because Chris, you have a large community. So you've heard now we're split here. Instant funded eval. What's your take?
I do think the straight to fundeds are nice products. But when I speak to the overwhelming majority of traders, most of them belong in an eval.
Why?
Right? Because they're learning, right?
Okay.
They're probably going to blow it. They're still trying to find their edge. They're for the most part not consistent with their trading. So the overwhelming majority belongs in evaluation. As they get more consistent and they find some ability to regularly even just pass an evaluation, let alone get a payout, right? We need to start passing evaluations first. Then you can get some consistency there. I'm a big fan personally of the all-in evaluation, where the activation is rolled in at a lower price, personally because I can confidently pass it and I'm all in at a lower cost.
I think that's a great.
So I have no problem with that model. It's my preferred. I do think straight to funded is great, but for a consistent trader, there's no problem lowering your cost basis.
Is it thought like
Passing the evaluation and
the
go
cost
for
basis
it.
coming down is like, you're a new trader. You're probably not going to make a bunch of money in the first year. Keep the cost as low as possible.
I would say any business is looking to keep the cost as low as possible.
Fair.
I think it's a good point that a lot of prop firms are serving traders that are just getting started. They're coming off of demo, and the instant funded is super solid. There's a lot of advantages, but like Chris said, the vast majority on their first account are not getting to a payout, right? That's just the fact of the matter. So keeping it super low in evals to get started and trying to work towards just passing in the first place can be super helpful. So I think that serves a big variety of traders, all the way to more confident, more advanced, like Chris is saying. Still makes sense to keep costs low, get through that, get to the solid account in funded, and then maybe copy trade from there.
Who here didn't blow their first funded account within probably days
or 10
Minutes.
So I mean, it's a guarantee.
So now, Clay.
Yeah, I think pretty much I agree with everything that you guys said. I think evals, especially for traders that are new to the space or to trading, I mean, you don't want to spend all your money on a instant funded account the first time you take a challenge, or 5th or 10th time. So it's a lower barrier to entry. And, if you think about prop trading as like more of a mechanism to actually learn the markets and learn to trade, which is everybody goes through that phase too, then I think evals are better, right? So, but as your journey progresses, like Tanner said, once people don't mind the consistency rule, and you actually have a very enlightened perspective on ESS and consistency rule, because you see it as, hey, this thing is actually helping me become a trader and harnessing in, the greed factor, over trading, all the things that would hold somebody back, right? So, and then most people, especially when they start, are like, what's the easiest consistency rule and the cheapest account, right? But that actually ends up holding people back a lot more, as opposed to learning to take a $600 loss or $1,000 loss or whatever you set that for and be able to walk away, or $600 win, $1,000 win, and be able to walk away, right? So the longer you keep trying to run it up, really the longer you're gambling, right? So,
and building bad habits.
Let's face
building
it,
bad habits. Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem with, I honestly think, a lot of the no consistency stuff in general is like, it's so easy to rinse an account and be like, all right, screw it. Let me just rip another eval and then full port this, pass it, go to this, and get stuck.
What are you
in
saying?
that.
The habits just get bad.
And it's built a
bad.
whole culture around it, and
Yeah.
like a microcosm of sim farming and churning through accounts.
Aren't you the captain of the sim farming
Yeah,
team?
no, he is like the secret.
Number one, dude.
Number one.
So no, I think listen, it's a hot take, right? Because
And you see that culture on Twitter, right? It's where people support it. Somebody's like, or not to
hate it.
No,
interrupt you,
go
but
for it,
like,
go for it, yeah.
You see somebody's payout got denied or whatever. Like, it just happened with Apex, right? And turns out this dude bought how many accounts, and was really just churning the hell out of it, right? And so like, but people were, I guess, I don't know, defending the fact that he should have got paid out when really he was just trying to rinse them and lie about what was actually going on.
We're gonna go right into the.
I think we should go there. Let's go to the.
No, let's go right to the
I mean,
SIM farming. So
here we go.
I've
That's
taken
the culture
some,
of it, right? So
yeah, it is. I've taken some hard stances, some hot takes in the past, and I continue to learn and see more. Right, so I'll kind of let you know where my head's at with this. I think there are, and I'm sitting next to Top of the Futures CEO, so I'm going to be right down the middle with this. I think there are prop firm rules that we have to work within as traders. And at a certain point, we do have to say, what's a good return on investment for my time and money? And so getting more aggressive, really pushing the boundaries of, what you can do with the max loss limit to the profit target and going through accounts pretty quickly, it can start to make sense. I think there's a big difference between actually trying to develop as a trader at all and just coming to props and saying, I've got 20 grand a month that I'm just going to cycle through, full port on news, no stop loss, hedging accounts and, back end, whatever game I want to play. And it's not trading. It's not anything to do with trying to learn how to trade in the markets. So, I think there's like a balance there in between. So I'll speak for myself, right? I've traded with Top One for quite a while since you guys launched. I got kicked into a Top One Futures live account in October of last year. I'm eligible for another payout. It's like my 17th payout. I've been trading it super slow, consistently, and there's great money to be made, daily payouts, no consistency. As you advance as a trader, you might say, hey, you know what? I want to trade live accounts, or I want to get more aggressive copy trading. I think that can be done in the sim environment, maybe across multiple firms, copy trading, but it toes into this crazy world of full port YOLO, try to figure out a complete back end way to just game the system and avoid being banned. Prop firms are tightening up on it. So I think it's kind of a balance, right? I think if you actually want to learn how to trade, be able to manage your own money, you have to learn the skill set of trading. There has to be money management. There has to be risk management, but at the same time, if you say, hey, I'm comfortable losing a couple of evals on the way to faster payouts, losing a couple of accounts on the way to faster and more frequent payouts, I'm still going to actually attempt to trade. I'm going to actually, attempt to structure some risk here. I understand that piece of it. But it's turned into this hot button take between this isn't trading and this is all that matters, which is making money. And I think there's something down the middle there that makes a little bit of sense for everybody involved, prop firms and traders. But it's definitely getting farther and farther to the extremes, which is.
You want to go into that?
I do. First and foremost, I think prop firms have done an incredible service to the trading community, because of anybody who's been trading for a length of time can remember a time where you had to show up with a lot of capital, and when you took a big loss, that was your own hard-earned money, right? So we've been presented with this, I think, a great opportunity to lower the risk threshold for a trader, both learning and even an established trader who doesn't want to take on that level of risk or a little more risk averse, right? So now it's become, I see bad actors trying to take advantage of that opportunity, and it's unfortunate.
As is in any opportunity, I guess there's always going to be people that try to game the system.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about it. It's like they're not learning how to trade. Like you said, they're gaming the system.
And then normalizing it.
And then making it seem like, oh, you suck at trading because you don't know how to play this game better than me.
And flashing these big payouts
And
that
it's
are
a
based
cycle.
on a misconception, which is
I think
unfortunate.
they're dishonest in many of the ways. Like the guys that are sim farming are using affiliate commissions to buy more accounts. They're not like being realistic to their audience. Their audience is usually someone who has a job and doesn't have unlimited disposable income. That they're not saying that. You know what I'm saying? They're like, no, just buy more, put it on a credit card. And I've got people that we've worked with that are in debt because of this mindset. So if you end up being someone that tries to sim farm and then can't, you actually put yourself, like you said, in a really, really bad spot. What were you going to say?
yeah, I was gonna say you would be blown away too by how like kind of intricate some of the ways that people try to get around the normal rules, whether it's like different hedging strategies or group trading or just the way people. It's super like devious and like it's like
shady.
unbelievable. It's like, dude, if you just like actually focus on trading,
You
it
might
would've
actually
been
figure it out
fucking
rather than
easier.
lying.
Do you see
yeah.
a
And
majority of that coming from within the United States, outside the United States?
Yeah, racially profiled. Come on.
outside,
Outside.
but both. We see way more of that. Like it's more organized with in FX.
Yeah, the
with Top
Indian
One
call
Trader.
centers, they've
Yeah,
shifted.
yeah.
The Indian
It's-
call centers are
it's
now
the-
running Forex
for
scams.
sure.
Organized
Yeah.
sim farming crime.
Literally.
Seriously.
It's somewhat harder to do with futures because the CME and everything's centralized. but there's still definitely new things coming up every day. You know?
I wanted to add to that point that you made there. So I think there's also a clear distinction between
A longtime friend of the podcast, TradeZella is offering you, as the listener, 20% off their journaling software. The back testing is incredible, and they have a ton of new features coming in 2026. So use the code ASFX to save 20% at TradeZella.com. Again, the code is ASFX at TradeZella.com. Hey traders, you've probably heard me mention the Black Shirt Club before. That's our group coaching program. We meet 3 times per week. We actually have a meeting today. And we are looking for some of you to fill empty seats in the mentorship. A couple of people just graduated to finish the year, so we want to make sure the group stays full. Head to asfx.biz/BSC to read more about what the club includes. You can also go to that website and book a free call with me. I'll hop on with you for 10 minutes and I'll answer any questions that you have. This is a $500 a month program, no like crazy fees, no hidden contracts, no cancel anytime. We're very flexible. We're not here to hurt you. We are here to help you make more money and help you get around traders that are trying to better themselves through more discipline and more accountability. So if that sounds like something that interests you, asfx.biz/BSC.
hey, I'm going to hammer it on props. I see this as an ROI game, and I'm going to, talk about ripping through evals and fundeds, and then here's how much money I've made. I'm spending 20, 30, 50K a month, and I'm making 100, 200, 300 versus look at the 300K that I made with prop firms. You can do it too. Just buy a $50, dollar eval.
Yeah.
So like for me, example, I'm trading that top one account. I've been talking about taking payouts from it. They're all super modest, right? Couple $100 here and there. Reasonable given the size of the account, right? You got, however many few $1,000s worth of an MLO or whatever it is. On the sim game, a little bit more aggressive. I talked about trading across a whole bunch of different firms this month, took multiple payouts, talked about blowing through quite a few evals and funded. So I think like being honest is really important about it. And a lot of guys went that way, and we saw a lot of that on Twitter.
Yeah. I think I've tried to take a little more of the focus away from my own personalized P&L.
Okay, what do you mean?
I wanted to make it more about students who are learning to trade and their successes and less about my own personal achievements, because then it becomes the Chris show and not so much about trading, right? And what can be achieved from a normal person going from 0 to 1 year to 2 years to 3 years and highlighting their successes.
And what we're saying, everybody, is like, if you're listening to this, you're probably in the prop game. You've probably tried it, but it's going to be really hard to not get sucked down this rabbit hole of playing the prop game wrong. And you're sitting with people who have taken, we didn't even say that in the intro. Everybody knows all of us have taken a bunch of payouts, and with a guy that runs a firm, and we're telling you there is a right and a wrong way to play it. And if you play it the right way, I think you build habits that can translate into what all of us do is trade your own account if you want to as well. That was the whole point of this prop thing in the beginning anyway, was to get your own money up and then be able to have full control. But now, as I segue into the live account thing, before we go into more drama, with certain firms like Top One Futures, the live environment has actually become compelling enough that it might make you stay with a prop firm versus trading your own live capital. So we talked before about trading options and trading prop, but we didn't talk about trading your own money in the future space. You're not doing that.
A little bit here and there.
Okay.
I am. But it's majority like, again, I'm looking for those really good opportunities and being like, okay, like this is the day I need to put it on and do it. But I see the other side of the coin too, where I'm like, oh, this might be a good one thing to put on overnight. And then like, I'll do that with my live account here and there. And I'm like, oh, that was a bad idea.
So then Chris, what are you doing? Are you, because you're trying to take the attention off your personal P&L, are you trading prop or are you trading personal?
I trade both.
Okay.
Yep. And I trade it based on the market conditions.
Okay.
Right. So I tend to be more of a balanced trader. So once markets stabilize and we have a clear range, that's where I tend to trade better. I'll be trading in my cash account. But if we're having a wildly, volatile session, I'll probably size down, trade a little more prop during those conditions and manage risk a little better by using my prop firm accounts.
Which is an interesting point, because then that opens the prop firm up to, like, you probably as the owner of the firm look at that and go, yeah, Chris is not the only guy that's going to take the riskier plays on his prop account. So how does the prop firm handle that?
Well, every day there's swings, people handle them differently. I think if it comes down to live, it depends who is actually trading live. But, like I don't really notice it on the day-to-day scale.
Sure.
And I don't really, we don't really look at it like that.
Even
much.
just banning or suspending trading of an asset like that's
right,
overly
like right
volatile.
now, and that's what I was about to say. Right now is a good example to, like with the whole situation in Iran, right? Like, things like that happen and those events happen. It's like you have to prepare for them and then take that into account, or I guess like 2 years ago, I know this is a different scenario, but most people probably would remember on the FX side when MetaTrader 5 like stopped doing US traders, right?
RIP.
Yeah, and then like bunch of prop firms went under, right?
Yeah.
So because they didn't prepare for that type of thing. So from that point of view, and Matt, who is our CEO, I'm like the founder, just to make it clear for Matt, I don't take his credit, but preparing for those type of things ahead of time, help us for daily swings to not be hit so bad.
Sure.
Right. I think that's a great strategy, Chris, to like have your when the market lines up to meet your ideal setups, your ideal trading your own capital, and then when it's maybe not as ideal, leveraging somebody else's. I mean, I think that's a great approach.
Absolutely. And let's talk about, this other side of things. A lot of us have trading communities and we trade live. I don't always want to trade my cash account live, right? But I still have to show up, and I have a community that wants to see trading and learn. Prop firms gives me another outlet to trade in with skin in the game in a controlled risk environment to be able to demonstrate real live trading, right? That's not in technically a demo account. There's more to it than that.
Anything you want to add on the personal capital?
Yeah, well, this was kind of in between the really aggressive churning and then prop firms managing risk. One thing I'd really like to see, and I saw this on the new accounts from Top One, is prop firms getting clearer whether the traders want it or the prop firms want it. They have to, because guys are going to press the limits on how many accounts you can have, right? How many evals are you allowed to go through? How many resets can you have? What can you do in a 30-day period? I think that really helps manage risk from the firm side, helps manage expectations from the trader to say, hey, we're not going to be, maybe banned or denied at some arbitrary level, but here's the upper limit. Don't go here or we're going to have, an issue. And then that also, like we're talking about, maybe, Chris might be an example of someone who's farther along in his career, has a really large size, live account. And he might say, hey, you know what? Trading for $1,000, $5,000 payout here, it's just really not worth my time investment, right? So in order to make this worth my time, I'm going to have to trade these aggressively or a little bit more aggressively, copy trade a bunch of them, get through them, and I'm going to stand to lose quite a bit of them. And at least you can know what that upper limit is, comfortable from the trader side, comfortable from the firm side. So I like what's happening. I think at least, let's lay that stuff out so everybody can understand what is a good use of time and money. So
is the live environment worth it, in a prop space? Before we leave this conversation of personal capital or not, is the live environment worth it? I mean, Zach and I are biased. We have live accounts with Top One right now. I have cons to it. I have pros to it, as we've talked about, right? But from your guys' perspective first, what do you guys think? Is the live environment in the prop space actually worth your time to be shooting for? Or should you be just shooting to take payouts and fund your own account?
I think it depends on the firm.
Come on.
And I
Depends.
think I think it does.
I think it
Safe
depends.
answer.
I'll tell you
is
why.
yes
But go
and
ahead.
no.
I'll tell you why I think it depends.
Yes and no, because
I just busted your
because that's the thing is like, just like every firm, every firm's live program is going to be different. And honestly, I feel like it is very difficult for any firm to have one live program that is like, oh my God, this is so worth it. Like, this is the end all be all.
Well, if they do, they're going to change it.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And so, and it's a common thing you're seeing now with a lot of these ones that were giving big payouts before, now they're taken away. And like you've seen this actually change over time with Top Step.
Dude, in the last year, Top Step changed everything. It was unlimited payouts, basically.
Literally. Yeah.
And now it's like,
yeah. The only one, okay, so here's I've gone live with, I think, 4 firms so far.
Okay.
So when I went live with, I'll list through them. So I did Tick Trader back.
RIP.
RIP. That one was trash, took forever, hated it. Obviously Top One Futures was solid. I was just a dumbass and blew the live too fast, too aggressive, because I'm just an aggressive trader. Live with Lucid, and Lucid was actually one I was stoked on because they actually paid me out when I got to, they asked me, they're like, do you want the live account or do you want the payout? And I was like, well, what is it? They're like, oh, well, you qualify for the max payout. It's 30K. And I'm like, oh, give me the 30K. I'm running to the bank. I'm like, I'm gone. Right. And apparently like Tradeify used to do that as well. But now, like, Tradeify doesn't do that anymore. Top Step doesn't do that anymore. No. I bet you I was one of the last ones Lucid's probably going to do that with. I don't know if they're going to do that as well. But that's the thing is, like, all these live programs seem like they're kind of degressing. So in my opinion, I feel like it's almost better just to trade the sim environment. Unless you literally have very, very clear milestones, progressions, consistency, all that type of stuff, and you're that type of trader. And it depends if you're aggressive or conservative as well.
Let's go to Clay.
Yeah,
and Chris.
and this gets back to like really what we were talking about like 10, 20 minutes ago, because the culture of sim farming and just kind of trying to run run trades up or burn through accounts. Somebody goes live and kind of takes that same strategy to a live account. And, and it's like that type of trading doesn't realistically work in a live environment.
Yeah.
So from the prop firms, I understand why those other ones are doing just that, because it's washing on their money. It's not profitable.
Well, for sure.
And then think about it this way: some trader gets down on a live account 20% or gets into a drawdown or whatever. They have no real skin in the game. Like Chris is trading his live capital, gets in a drawdown, say 20%. I don't know if that would happen for you, but you're going to stick it out and bring it back no matter what, right? Somebody gets down on a live account.
Screw this.
Yeah, exactly.
Buy a new one.
Right. So, but
Not my money.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then they go back to the sim environment, right?
So it's hard from a prop firm perspective to have a profitable live environment. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'd say that's an understatement.
And I think this is the thing, is like getting there is, again, it's like when people are full porting, doing all the non-consistency stuff like that, and they reach these requirements of the payouts to get there, and they have this big buffer balance. It's like, it kind of makes sense why Top Step is doing this whole new thing where it's only 20% of your balance is going. Because all the people that were ripping the metal trades, that have these 150K balances in their XFAs, and they've never taken a payout before, like you had some people in your community, which is insane. That's a lottery ticket that they got lucky with. So why should the firm have to honor that? Because they are literally gambling. And so I'm going to switch to the Top Step thing real quick, because I do think this is something that's happening where they got really screwed with all the metals going on. And the way it happened, so I'm stuck right now. Literally right now, I have 3 accounts, XFAs locked up. They've been locked up for 5 weeks.
Locked up meaning you can't trade them,
can't
but you
trade
have
them.
access, you see them?
I see them. They're there in my dashboard, but they ran this thing where they had a new system that said like they caught people if they were hedging, quote unquote.
Randy got the email.
I got the email, and my hedging one that I looked at was with a combine, apparently. They said I was hedging a combine with an XFA. Okay. So I'm like, okay, this is an eval with an XFA. This doesn't even make sense. Number 2, I actually did have one account with Top Step that was an automated account. I was working like with this bot basically that like it's an automated trading strategy, right? And actually under Top Step's rules and stuff like that, it's totally legal. Like you can do that. It was not breaking any rules. Like it says you can run automated strategies.
But if the bot puts you in a position where you're hedging, now
so
the bot
that's what happened apparently based on what they were saying. Is I was short, the bot was short doing its thing.
Stupid.
Yeah, I had no idea you were trading with bots.
Yeah, I had one.
He's
He's like, I didn't think you were smart enough for that.
No, I had one account with Top Step.
He's actually a quant. Nobody knew it.
The muscles are a facade.
The quant bodybuilder.
It's actually been kind of trading well, and it's cool, and I've just been experimenting with it, and I just moved it over to a live account that doesn't have any restrictions or anything, a full live account. But anyway, so I was doing that with Top Step with just one account, kind of like, letting the strategy do its thing, whatever. And so, of course, like it was short on that. And I guess one day while that account was short, maybe I was in an eval and I went long, and that's what they nicked me for. And I was like, I got that email. And then since then, they haven't given me clarity. And I have 3 XFAs locked up with $14,000 each in them.
Wow.
I can't touch them. And so literally, it felt so scammy, dude. The day I was supposed to request my 15K payout from those 3 accounts, boom, I got the email that, your accounts are locked.
Well, when you were eligible, a flag went up in their system.
And so I've been following up with them. I had to go to go on Twitter, make the post, do all of that type of stuff. And I hate doing that type of stuff. And they're just still running me in circles and not giving me an explanation. And classic, I asked them, I'm like, can you show me when I was hedging? Can you literally send me the data of the trades? And they just ignore it.
Right.
And sweep it under the rug. And I'm like, dude, I get, and I was like, I get it. This is from all the metal stuff, because it happened right after the metal stuff. I was like, but a fair way to go about this isn't to be like, oh, you guys are hedging. Let's try to nick all these people and ruin them. Look at who is actually ripping through metals and gamifying the metals trades. I didn't trade any metals during that time.
You're given both sides. You said you understand from the firm side, what was going on.
I get it.
But it's worth a look to see subjectively.
But take it case by case and be like, oh, this guy never even traded silver or gold at all. And like we were hit him with the hedge on the eval. That's just the automated thing that caught him. Whatever, it's fine. Versus someone, oh, this guy ripped through 20 evals trying to long 15 SI contracts, right? It's like, it's different, right? And
it almost seems like Top Step doesn't have enough people to do all that kind of work.
For sure. And they
Which
got
is
overwhelmed.
a crazy thing to say because they have so many employees.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so 5 weeks I've just been sitting
Top
in the
One,
dark.
on the other hand, they're on it, man.
Wait, I don't know how you guys have figured
Instantly.
out the customer service so much better than
That's
that.
what we
Instantly.
built our whole model around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes it seem like PopStep doesn't care about the customer as much as they used to. That's how it makes me feel. And I think it started with the way they terminated all their affiliates, including me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When they just rug pulled everybody. And, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of us. You know what I mean? Found any reason to try. So it's like, okay, if you're going to treat the people, I mean, it starts with Patrick Whelan. Shout out to Pat. I mean, Pat was the main guy that got ripped by them, and he was the main guy that helped blow them up. So if they're going to treat people like that, it kind of made me feel like this industry, you have to work with a firm where across the board, you see them treating everyone good, from the way that they treat their customer service staff to the way that they treat their sim traders to the way that they treat their funded traders. It's all going to be the same. So you can't just be like, oh, they just don't care about affiliates, but they really care about their customers. No, they don't care about anyone.
Well, customer
they
service
just think more will come.
Customer service is really, dude, I grew up in the restaurant industry. So like literally like what's ingrained in me is people, customer service, like, you know, provide value. So I will say that is something you guys do super, super well. It's actually legit. It is the fastest. I've obviously DM'd and had a lot of interaction with different firms for customer service point of view. We all
Remember
have,
the
right?
tick trader thing?
Yeah, exactly. That took like 4 months to get a live account. They wouldn't respond to me. Like, it's like, and again, like that's why I'm upset with dealing with the TopStep stuff. Is like I have to go to Twitter to eventually get a response now instead of in their support tickets where it's supposed to be happening.
You should actually be insulted. Patak didn't reply to your tweet. He's on Twitter running his mouth all the time.
I know.
You'd think he would say something back to you considering who you are.
And I'm like, and I was trying to even be nice about it. Like, dude, just please look into this and just get it done. And then now I'm getting pissed. I'm like, all right, you guys. Like,
Well, you're not getting that money. What are you going to say?
I think,
know you're chomping at the bit over here.
No, listen, I'm gonna try to be down the middle with it as best I can.
Why are you so peaceful?
I
Yeah,
think
we've got Switzerland over here.
yeah, that's I'm gonna be.
Does he not know how these clips work?
I'm gonna be.
Where's the clips?
It's cool. I'm not gonna get any clips. No, this is just the honest way that I think about stuff and just my my truth behind the way I'm thinking about it. I think the markets change incredibly quickly. The space itself, the prop firm space, because I was trading, Forex CFDs before and Forex and CFD prop firms before the meltdown. It changes extremely quickly. The firms have to adapt very, very fast. The traders have to adapt very, very fast. There's oftentimes this caught in the crosshair in between, not making an excuse for the firm, not making an excuse for traders. And we continue to see that develop. I think from a trader perspective, you've got to be ready to adapt quickly. The guys that I see make it the longest in the markets and with prop firms have this pivot energy, which pivot we were joking around about, but just constantly pivoting, being able to, understand that this is going to change very, very quickly. And then from the firm side, I do think there's a lot of responsibility to say, hey, these are our rules. This is what we're offering, right? Market changes. If we don't change quick enough and, this leaves the door open for guys to, trade the way that they were allowed to trade, you've got to do right by them. You can't just leave anybody out to dry at all. So I think it's this balance. From a trader perspective, I'm constantly watching. I try to stay out of just spending time doom scrolling drama for engagement because that stuff is just a nightmare. I try to tell my community that, listen, all props are risk. Trading in general, insane risk. Markets change fast. Prop firms are going to change fast. Do your diligence. Continue to stay updated on what's going on. What does customer service look like? What are the rules that are changing? They're making advances for the better and lowering prices, widening out rules. They tightening up everything? Are they, restricting things and just constantly changing everything? And, decide where you want to place that risk because we've all been around long enough to watch firms fold, to get rugged quickly. So I think it's that balance in between. I would say from the trader side, firms always got to do right by the trader, right? If you're paid for something, they should. If you paid for something and you followed rules, up to whatever that upper limit is, which more and more are getting clear on and setting, which I like, you got to get paid. You got to get paid out, right? At the same time, from the firm's perspective, markets change super quick. Volatility goes crazy. Guys trading 15, minis on silver is absolutely insane.
No, that's insane. That's actually,
and just the way that the space is developed and, the understanding of precedent evals and fundeds, right? That churning, mindset, they've got to adapt, right? And, whether we as traders like it or firms as traders like it, firms as firms don't like it, that's the way it's going to have to go. They're going to have to lay out clear lines and say, hey, this is the upper limit for it, and then change quickly as things move.
You almost need using the VIX, but for certain specific assets. Like once it hits this, it's like, okay, we limit trading on this because it's at this.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like that's kind of where TopStep dropped the ball on that. Is they got so underwater because they didn't catch on the squeeze of silver fast.
I mean, this is the
enough.
2008 story. That what happened in Lehman
But shouldn't
Brothers?
consistency rules prevent all of this?
To a degree. I won't yak for too much longer, but here's the thought. Live accounts, the brokerage that I trade with, they started sending out emails right away. Margin requirements went crazy, right? And of course, you hop on Twitter right after silver, and you're like, dude, it's like $95,000 in your, Robinhood, which is not the one that I'm talking about. AMP was sending out a bunch of emails, to open up a
one contract.
One contract.
So, it's not like, oh, the firms can't handle it. Like, look at what you would have to put up in a live
real
account.
firm.
Yeah, the brokerages.
The exchange also puts these margin requirements.
It's all the same.
Yeah, it's a
and
CME,
it goes, as volatility goes crazy, those are going to go way, way, way up. So, firms are going to have to adapt that way, reduce contracts, whatever they're going to do. So, but I think that's important to know because I heard a lot of people say this is ridiculous. Like, how could they, limit us on gold? It's tough. I understand. Like, you paid for a product and it said you could do this. From a market and real life standpoint, look at what's happening in the real world if you're trading with your live brokerage, right? Because I have them and I was like, damn, I wouldn't be able to open multiple, with this stuff going on. Same thing around news. They jack margin requirements. A lot of them continue to do that. I got it over the email as the Iran news broke. Like, I got it from 2 different live brokerages that, hey, maintenance, margin requirements are jacked. So
I don't think it's dumb at all, dude. I think all these people bitching about it are just stupid. It's just honestly, it's like
there's the clip right there.
Yeah, it's like, well, just,
the
it's
clip.
just again, like you just hit the nail on the head. It's like if AMP and these really even Tradeovate itself are sending you here's the margin requirements for this.
Yeah.
If that's the actual broker doing that, then why would a firm not do the same thing?
But they have to because the CME requires them to.
Exactly. But then people come on and keyboard warriors going, I can't believe this firm is limiting me trading this.
Well, that's a problem just of Twitter is that everyone thinks their opinion is valid and warranted on Twitter because you can type it. Meanwhile, like we're saying, you have to be realistic of what's going on in the real world.
And well, there's like an unrealistic expectation that things will never change in the prop space. And it's
meanwhile,
dude, we're in the
said.
markets.
Markets change every minute.
It literally is one of the few places anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
And it never fails,
Never fails. And it will always surprise you.
It will always. That is, I think, one of the cool things about the space is that it will continue to evolve and go back and forth, like evals, instant funded, different things will be restricted. They'll come back. I mean, it's all based on the trading behavior and then the actual market conditions themselves, right? But to think it's never going to change is just
ignorant.
It's going to be something to complain about.
So I traded at an actual prop firm, right?
Right, back in the day.
What most people don't realize, this is what I talk to my traders about all the time, right? If you work at a real prop firm, do you know what you're going to have? You're going to have a risk manager, right? That's your boss. Right? They make the decisions for you. You don't get to tell them how much drawdown. You don't get to tell them how big you want to swing today. You don't get to tell them really much at anything. They are the end all be all when it comes to the prop firm's money.
I got a funny story.
Right?
So when I worked at the prop firm at T3, I'm sure you could tell us a similar one. The guy that ran compliance wasn't the risk manager, but he was involved with the risk manager. He was this bigger than you, big dude, big black dude. He
bigger than you.
No, bro. Super, just like you, though.
Kind of big.
The biggest dudes they're so nice, right? So he was such a nice guy to me.
Yeah.
And he would tell me, he was like, I gotta yell at these fucking guys. Like he would, when we went out, I went to the holiday party once. He was like, I have to yell at them. Like that's how firm the compliance and the risk managers have to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where they have to literally feel like their job is to yell at grown ass men.
Right.
To put the constraints in place to keep the firm's capital safe. Because that's all it's about. It's literally about deploying the capital to keep it safe.
Right.
No one's even thinking about that with sim prop firms now.
Yeah, for sure.
So there is a bit of entitlement, right? Just because they paid for something, they're entitled to whatever.
Chris, it was $100.
Yeah.
You don't know?
Right. I spent $100 on this. How dare you tell me? Right. And it's just not reality. Right. It's just not. Right. And prop firms are a business, and anybody who's running a business, there's risk, there's liability, there's all these things that are in this equation that most customers don't think about.
No.
And they have to.
No, I think people underestimate how many customers prop firms have. I think people think prop firms is a small niche. I think they have no idea how much volume some of these firms are doing. It's
how
disgusting.
complex it is with the different software, CRMs, the platforms.
Tracking, drawdown on.
Dude, yeah, it's super complex.
Now, like you were saying, even tracking how many accounts is someone buying before they're farming us. You know what I'm saying? So let's pivot for a second. I want to talk payouts, and then we'll maybe get back to some individual firms. With payouts, we talked eval, instant funded. I think that was a good way to start the podcast. But now, okay, I've done a couple of prop accounts. I'm the listener. I've done a couple. Haven't taken more than one payout. What would be the best advice for that trader? We'll go to you first, Clay. Best advice for that trader who's taken one,
is there,
but not consistent.
Right.
So he's
They've
got
already
one.
taken a payout.
Already gotten one, but it's been 6 months, 8 months since my last one. I'm looking for that consistency. What would you say?
And they've just been trading for 6 months?
Up and down, break even, close to payout, blows.
I think they're doing a great job.
Okay.
Honestly, I mean, I think that if you've only been trading for 6-8 months, already taken a payout, hopefully you're in a good trader community. I think that's like
We'll say it's
incredibly
been 6 or
important.
8 months between their payout.
Oh, between their payout.
Yeah, so they've gone into a lull. What would be the advice to get back on the horse to get that next payout?
It would probably be get in with some sort of community, like have some sort of
That's good advice.
mentorship or something like that.
New
I
information.
mean, if you took a payout on your own, just like grinding it out, figuring it out, I think that's pretty amazing. You're in the small percentile, so you're gonna have to get around some people or some mentorship to really like step up. the
Great
game.
answer. Great answer.
You know, I think that is the most real, and whether it's trading or business or, you know, whatever it is you're trying to do, I think that's what it is. But I think that you're in a great start.
Great
if you're
answer.
that person.
What do you think, Chris?
I think survivorship bias is a real cognitive bias that most people deal with. And we live in an echo chamber where you only hear about those who are successful.
Right.
And it's a very small percentage. And we tend to think that it's more common than it is. And it's not. So I agree with Clay 100% that if you've gotten one payout, you're already ahead of the game. But maybe you got a little lucky and you need to work on your consistency and you need to work on your mindset. Hopefully you're working with traders who have a longevity approach and not just a hit and win type style.
Love that. What about you?
Yeah. I'll agree with what both of you guys just said. For anybody listening, first off, almost nobody makes money trading. Almost nobody makes money with prop firms, especially not consistently. If you're in between payouts, you're not consistent yet, I'd say size down and slow down. Hop on one eval. Go back to demo, right? And then come off of demo and stay on one eval maybe until you work yourself towards some consistency. At least prove some concept. It also, I think, depends, like for a practical approach, also depends on, where you're at. Have you been trading for 1 to 2 years or, 8 to 9 years? Do you have a lot of capital? Is $1,000 a lot to you? Or, do you own your house and your business and you've got hundreds of thousands? So that's going to really play a big impact on the way you're going to approach trading in general and props in general. But for anybody that's in between, size down, slow down, focus on the process. Sure, you could YOLO hammer it and get lucky for a while, but you're even going to suck at that. You can't apply any potential edge at all that you think you have. Try to create a process, try to create something that's somewhat sustainable on a small scale, keep risk low, waste your money there, or not waste your money, but pay tuition to the market there, and then build. As soon as you start to have some consistency, some confidence in what you're doing, then build out from there. But I watch so many guys that are just like driving the car with the wheels falling off, and instead of slowing down, this is not my analogy.
They just crash.
But yeah, dude, instead of slowing down to change the tire and just taking that break and then making it to your destination towards profitable trading, you're hammering the gas pedal and everything's flying
good
off
analogy,
the car,
bro.
and the thing grinds into the ground because you run out of capital, you burn yourself out, and you go, "This sucks. This is a scam. I hated it, and I wasted, a year." Like it's a long game. It's
Even
a
you think that car's a stupid way for me to get to my destination. I need something else. No, you just need a different car.
Yeah.
So I would, before I go to you, I'll just play off of my answer to the question is just try a different prop account. I think a lot of guys keep trying the same account. It might not be for them. Go to eval, go to instant funded. I think you got to try a different car. That's my simple answer. I like your answer too. What's yours?
I'm gonna do a hot take and be like, I don't think any account's gonna save anyone. I don't think any firm's gonna save you either. If you've taken one payout and it's been 6 to 8 months and you just can't, it all comes down to being what a real trader is about. What does the journaling tell you? What does the review tell you? What does the data tell you?
Good answer too.
What does your setups tell you? Right? It's that's props in all these accounts. They are vehicles to make money. That's the vehicle, right? It's that's it. But it's the core of trading itself is the skill. And so I don't if it's a skill issue, you need to look at where are there gaps in the bucket, right? It's if you have a bucket with a bunch of holes in it, it's where are those holes and how can you slowly plug those little holes of your system of everything going on overall? So it's that's what I think about it truly, because no random account or oh, well, this account only has this, so I'm going to be better at this because of that, or this doesn't have this consistency, so I'm going to be because of that. No, it doesn't matter. It's do you have edge in your setup? Do you actually know what you're looking at? Was your first payout luck? Honestly, I know getting a payout is a really big deal. I know for a lot of people out there, and I'm not gonna say this to bash any of you, because it is a good feat if you can accomplish one payout. But can you accomplish 5? Can you accomplish 10? Can you do them consistently? I think that's really what matters, because if you're trading a real live normal account, like when I used to trade options back in the day, I would get to a threshold on that account where I would be up $5,000 or something on the account overall, and I would wire out the money, and that's my payout, right. And essentially, right? How many times can I do that in a month? How many times can I pay myself in a month? That's really what it comes down to. So everyone's oh, I got my payout. I did it. I'm like, that's okay. Now you got to do 1,000 more. Okay, like how can you recreate it, right? So yeah, if you're stuck, definitely there's periods of time where like you're gonna be flat, you're gonna go sideways, you're gonna have red months. Like we just talked about this on my pod, like with you, and you're going to have months where even deep in the game, you're flat or surviving or just like barely making money. But that's part of being a trader because it is ebbs and flows, just like life. So it's like, learn how to navigate that, learn how to do the real work of like, do you have edge? Are you actually looking at your review and doing everything right? Do you have a process? Or are you throwing stuff at the wall and seeing if it sticks? And guess what? You can throw stuff at the wall and maybe it will stick and you'll get that payout or two. But can you do it consistently over and over and over? That is true trading, in my opinion.
So when you take the first payout and you're now down this prop firm rabbit hole, what's the secret or the sauce to taking the second payout in the account? Let's talk about tips for, are we leaving a buffer? Are we trying to like just rinse it? What do you guys think about that? Chris, I'll go to you first.
Don't spend tens of thousands of dollars on evaluations trying to get it back fast, right? We need to have some type of controlled growth and investment because it can get out of control really, really quick.
Sure.
So generally, if you're running into inconsistency issues, the solution isn't to ramp it up. Great example with the car, I thought. But it needs to be controlled. If you can't be consistent in one account, you're not going to be consistent in 10.
Right.
You're not going to be consistent in trading 5 different firms.
So don't even go to copy trading until you show some, because then you're just making your expenses up.
You're playing a payout game. You're not playing a trading game.
And that takes away from focus on the skill.
Correct.
Okay. And you say?
Yeah, I think working on the skill set of trading itself, working on your edge, working on your process, right? Staying disciplined, and then understanding, not to bring it back to that, where do you want your spend to be? How much capital do you have to trade with, right? Is your goal to not lose 1 or 2 accounts that you're trading and to work towards, a payout, hopefully? Set a reasonable expectation for that. You're going to get paid a minimum payout or middle of the road payout once every 2-3 months as you're starting out. Maybe that would be like a great goal for somebody. Are you somebody that says, hey, you know what, I'm going to work a little bit more aggressively, I'm going to lose some of these, I'm going to get funded quicker, and I want to copy trade? As you start to gain some consistency, you're going to spend a lot more, you're going to work yourself towards larger and more frequent payouts. At its core, though, anybody starting out trying to grab onto some more consistency, like just hammering it, just does not make sense. But also, like, what is the risk to reward? What is your trading capital for props? And then what is your expectations? And like we started to touch on this, I think comparison is such a gnarly one in our space. Again, so many guys are displaying these massive, massive numbers. Same thing in trading. It's not somebody, this is not my quote either. Trading is not a money printer, as much as the kids like to say that. It's a money multiplier. It takes money to make money with props, with live accounts. If you're going to, come to this game very slowly, you can scale, but it's going to be that slow growth. Don't expect the results that somebody else has 10 years in that's, trading with hundreds of thousands of dollars in, capital for prop firms, for live accounts. It's just not comparable. So focus on that growth and actually developing the skill set. And then where are you at? Where are you at in your trading, in your experience level, your capital allocation, your general risk tolerance, and understand what that really looks like for you as a person, and then proceed that way.
I had Zach on the podcast, Zarb. You guys all know Zarb from Prop Firm Match. He was saying last year his focus was to spend less on prop firms, so his payouts would be more. He doubled his payout and literally cut his spend in half. He said because
that's a big lever for
Huge.
all he did, he said, and this it's coming for a question for you. He said he, of course, was tracking everything, but he made sure that on the accounts he'd buy for all different firms, Top One, Tradeify, everybody he trades with, that he took more than one payout on each account. That focus of not just rinsing the accounts when you get over the buffer, that helped him increase his profits dramatically. So I'm curious, can you share any stats? I know how much of a statistician you are.
I'm the idea guy.
Any big picture numbers you can give to the listeners about like, hey, if you take 2 payouts, you're maybe more likely to get, like, is he right to think that you're more likely?
Yeah, and I was actually talking to Zach because I go on the Prop Firm Match stream with him sometimes, and great guy. And like, I think when this is a little different answer, but when traders start to become profitable, they want to trade more, right? So like they're sitting, I did this, right? You get a payout or 2 payouts and you're just like, all right, I got this down. So then next thing you know, if you're just trading the open for an hour and that's your normal time, you're sitting there all like until 2 o'clock trying to continue to start to make money. So I think everybody goes through that cycle. So Less is more in a lot of ways. And I think that's probably the approach that Zach was taking.
Buy less accounts.
But
Building off your point, have a budget almost. So you're not just buying 10 account credit card debt.
Right.
So you have a budget, and then you try to get
Exactly.
more payouts out of those accounts that you're allocating for.
And then being more strategic, creating a buffer to answer your question, I think is super smart, especially if you're like committed to taking payouts on this account rather than I'm going to get paid out 4 times this month on however many accounts I have to buy.
Yeah.
That's way different.
Way different.
Way different mindset. And so and that's the same thing. That's the same reason you guys have been 2 of the few guys that have been really successful in our live program.
Yeah.
Because you just approach it from that way as, hey, I'm going to take payouts on this account. This is what I'm doing now.
Right.
Right. So does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I feel like the new trader, to your point about being distracted by comparison on social media, the new trader is susceptible to falling for unrealistic expectations. They see people doing so much on the internet that they think they can trade accounts at this different firm and this different firm when they really should just do what you just said, just focus on one.
Yeah.
And here I am, like I'm still trading, I'm on my almost 11th, 12th year.
Right.
But I do other things, so I know my bandwidth. I think that's why I don't do all those different accounts.
And finding one community that you like resonate with, whether it's yours or yours or yours, and deleting all the other Discords.
That's what I
all
was
the
getting
other
at, is like, how much
Telegrams,
value
dude,
is there in that?
All the Twitter people that you follow, it's not serving you at all, you know? So,
Well, can we? We're all going to be at the boot camp, right? We didn't even talk about that.
yeah,
We
it's
got the
gonna be
boot
sick.
camp in May. It's sold out. So if you're watching this, you didn't buy a ticket. Sucks for you. You were just talking about a different event that was going on in Miami, and just the caliber of person that was there. More the Lambo boys, right? And the community there. The person that was at the event said to you, the caliber of person just wasn't there. They were shitty traders. They're new traders. They fall for that. They fall for the stuff on social media. When I think what we all with all of our
played out now though.
it's so played out, but but there's still people
But
that
new people that come in,
they see it.
There's always a new person that's logging on for the first time and going, "What's this trading thing?" And they
see a
they
car.
see the first couple of accounts that they go to on social media, and it's a kiss of death for a while,
It's
man.
a kiss of death.
I'm gonna be rich.
That's the problem is this is a long career. Like it's like, but people come into it expecting to get rich overnight.
Right. Yeah.
And even people that expect to make a lot of money in 3 to 5 years, I think that's still expecting to get rich overnight. It's like, it takes time. And one of my favorite quotes from last weekend, be a dinosaur in this industry, like survive, like as long as you can. Like,
Cockroach.
Yeah, exactly. The cockroach. Yeah. You can't be killed. Like, it's like last as long as you can. And eventually you will get better and better and better. And you will get better at the skill, take more payouts and whatnot, but everyone wants it so fast, like now. And that is actually, I think, a part of the problem of the prop space in general is it's allowed people to take payouts when they haven't really earned it yet, in my opinion. Versus like when you go through a traditional learning curve with a traditional account, you have to go through the ring of fire. You have to be like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. Oh wait, I'm getting wrecked. Oh, I'm really wrecked. I can't do this. Wait, I can breathe a little bit. I got it. Oh my gosh, I'm almost there. Oh no, back down there. Like, it's like, and you go through that like insane until finally you get your head above water and you're like, wow, that was insane. 2.5 years or 3 years. Just like get back to there, basically.
It's true. And where do you see that play out regularly? That process mentally? Casino.
Oh, exactly. 100%,
Every time, bro.
100%.
Right?
Casino.
I just want. I tasted it.
I
Right?
tasted
It's
it, yeah.
right there.
Yeah. Slot
If I
machines
keep
do that,
playing,
yep.
I'll hit.
You know
Jackpot
how
will
Dana
come.
White plays blackjack?
What's that? Oh yeah.
He goes in and plays one hand, big, $100,000, $200,000 hand. He doesn't sit there and play for
Runs away,
hours and
yeah.
hours. And if you win, you're out.
Oh, Dana White?
That's how I heard he plays.
Yeah,
I don't
think
play
he's
with him that much, so I don't know.
Right.
That's how I trade Asia.
Exactly.
Come in, I win, or lose them out.
Right.
I want to ask you a question. We'll pass it around here. How important are smarts to prop firm payouts?
Smarts in terms of intelligence.
Yes, in IQ.
I mean, you need to know the basics and understanding the mechanics of trading and be able to understand a system, which I don't think requires a terrible amount of intelligence. I think that's, fairly average.
Okay.
But it's the temperament that's going to bring you further.
EQ.
Yeah.
EQ goes further than IQ.
Your temperament's going to carry you in the long game. And I think anybody can get lucky with a payout, just like anybody can go into a casino and get lucky with a jackpot, right? It's no different. But to be able to be consistent, like Zach was referencing, over the long term, that's real trading. That's longevity. And that's a skill that takes a very long time to develop. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're claiming.
Staying power. That's
Staying
what it is.
power.
I mean,
Stay
I'm thinking
alive.
about how many things require staying power. Everything good. You want girls?
Yeah.
It's going to require you to
Start a business.
start a business.
I mean,
have a
somebody
strong
told me when I started my last business, hey, most businesses fail.
Right.
I said, okay.
Right.
I understand that risk. I'm still going for it. All right, trading, most people lose money. Okay, I understand that. I'm still doing it.
Yep.
One of my favorite quotes from just like a business friend of mine said, he talked about the 5-year rule. He's like, anything in life, if you give your effort for 5 years and you aren't seeing insane progress by then, more than likely that thing's not for you.
Yep.
Trading's a little bit different, where I don't believe in the sunk cost fallacy, where like you can just lose money for so long and then all of a sudden you can have your breakout.
No, but I think 5 years is a good
But
time
I think
frame.
5 years is a really good time
If you're
frame.
still questioning if you like trading after 5 years, it's probably not for you.
Yeah,
You're bought in at that point.
Yeah,
or not.
exactly. And it's like if you're still if you're still super confused and have no edge at all or any understanding of
reason for
everything, it's like you probably haven't been doing real work for 5 years. Like that's like, so when I said the 5-year thing, it's like literally deliberate hard work out the skill for 5 years just to expect anything at all out of it. But the problem is most people hear that and they go, that's way too long, I can't do that. Okay.
Welcome to any business,
any
man. Welcome
business,
to literally
anything.
any business,
Any
anything
business.
that's going to be a high-paying career profession. Not to cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're right, 100%. It's like,
But wait, back to my question. So you don't need you need
intelligence.
average smarts.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need crazy intelligence. I mean, you don't need a lot of intelligence to start a business.
Probably need another source of income, though.
oh, I'm a huge advocate of that. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
I think, like, honestly, I've been through only trading for the income. I think a lot of us have. I personally, I hate it. I think, like, just trading itself is too stressful.
Well, I mean, I'm Jewish, so I hate one stream of income. I want all of the streams of income. Bro.
I think it's much easier to trade and have some other source of income, even if it's small, right? It's like, that's like when I worked at the restaurant for so long in the beginning of my career, like that floated me bills wise in order to be able to trade, to not be like, oh my gosh, I need this trade to hit so I can pay rent.
Dude, people are like, yo, you can't be a trader if you have other streams of income. It's like, what the fuck is that?
Why not? Like,
That is the
it's stu-
craziest.
it's stupid,
That's by far
right?
the craziest comment
Yeah.
I've heard all the time. It's like,
1000% agree.
Yeah.
I used to idolize this like full-time trader
Same.
thing. I used to want to say that you will never put yourself in a better position and mindset to trade than when you have outside sources of income.
dude,
Whether that's a
100%.
W-2, your day job, whether
Money
it's
in
a
the
side
bank,
gig,
savings.
literally whatever it is, DJing on the weekend.
That's
you
how I
know,
started.
Dude, like anything. You're into real estate on the back end. It could be different passive type stuff. But man, putting yourself in that position, because unfortunately that's who you're up against. I like, people always ask about that and talk about it. I'm like, picture this. You want to give yourself every edge you possibly can in the markets, right? And sure, it might take a while to get here, but think about this version of yourself. The version of yourself that has bills paid, everything paid off. You're not worried about your car, your mortgage, any of this stuff. Money in the bank and, money to trade with. You have an outside source of income. How does that person trade compared to the back up against the wall, like have to pay bills? And I know some people have gone through it, but like that version of you is 1,000 times less likely to make it in something that this version will almost never make it either. It's so hard. If you put yourself in that type of situation, it's incredibly difficult. And I understand a lot of people will hear this and go, that's great. You guys have all this different stuff going on. You're very far along in life. Totally understand that. If you're not, I think trading can be a great skill set to start to learn in demo with no risk on the line. But until it's not your escape, until you get yourself into a position where you have money to lose, because you shouldn't trade with money that you don't want to lose, you're not gonna do well. Because back to the original question, do I think you need to be, how much does intelligence or smarts play a role? I don't think it plays an enormous role, but emotional intelligence does.
You
Mindset.
took my answer.
There we go. Emotional intelligence does. I'm gonna send it. That self-awareness does. And if you are struggling with finances, with things in your personal life, and you're not very emotionally aware, you're not developed that way, you're gonna struggle. Trading just brings out the worst. And there's probably things that you could be a mess and be really smart and crush it, right? You cannot do that with trading. I've been in different spots in my life. I just go straight to the ground as soon as I have anything like that going on. Same thing with money. Anytime I had in the past anything going on as I was getting started or something to prove, straight to the ground, man. So, again, it's easy to say that from this point, but I think for anybody out there, you don't have to be a genius at all. In fact, the best traders that I see are not the smartest guys. Not to knock everybody, they're really not. They're not.
100%.
They don't have crazy PhDs.
Oh wait, you were knocking me? I
degrees.
didn't even realize.
Not to cut you off, but I literally remember sitting in my corporate office when I worked at Weed Maps, my first corporate job out of college. I literally remember sitting there looking up like day trading videos for the first time and coming across this guy that was trading crypto, and he made a good amount of money doing it. But I remember I was like, this guy's like a blue collar dumbass.
This guy's an idiot, dude.
I was like, the way he talks and presents himself, I'm like, and literally I remember telling myself, Tanner, if a guy like this can do it and just figure out a skill, I was like, what's the common denominator? Why is he good at making money? He's been doing it for like 7-8 years. I was like, this is a time thing. Like, so that's again why I'm such an advocate of the time thing. Cause I'm like, this guy isn't smart. I was like, but he's stuck with the skill for so long that he's gotten good at it.
Which is like arguably a stupid thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It almost requires you to not be too smart.
literally.
That's what I want to hear your answer first.
Yeah, I'd say emotional intelligence for sure. It takes a lot of that to know that.
Stealing your answer.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I agree. It takes a lot of emotional intelligence, also not to quit when it gets frustrated, or to be able to be like, hey, what was I doing wrong here? Like, why didn't this work out? Rather than like, I think this happens a lot. It's happened to me when I was learning how to trade. People. It's common to tie their self-worth into like their trading results. And it's like, dude, you can't like say, hey, this works or doesn't work, or I don't know what I'm doing. If you've been doing it for six months, you just don't have the right direction and whatnot. So the resilience factor, I think, takes a lot of emotional intelligence, but to build a system and follow a system, it's like, following your macros or something like that.
Basic
It's
IQ.
simple to do, but it can be extremely hard, like if you're on a diet or whatever, right?
The emotional IQ is tough.
I think that's why you got to love the game, and you can't be in it just for the money.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's what I
Gotta
was-
love the game.
Yeah,
You
because
have
if you're going to be stubborn to do something that you're going to continue to push at when you're losing, some people that are smarter than you with a higher IQ will be like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
He's like borderline obsessive with it. Like
Right.
that's a common trait for sure. I see is like everyone like lives, breathes, and eats trading. But if you're not like that, like
you're
it's
just
probably
trying to
not
make
a
money,
career for you.
yeah,
If
you're
you're just trying to like make a little money trading.
No,
something
just
I'm
go
doing.
drive Uber, bro.
It's
Like,
like
do something
almost
else.
do something
anything.
else.
The top performers in any
Are
industry,
obsessed.
any sport, they're not there for the money, man. They love it. They're
just
in
obsessed.
fact doing it like not for the money.
Why
Like those
Mark
guys.
Zuckerberg's still running Facebook.
Exactly.
That's
Dude,
why
we just watched
he
Alex
doesn't-
Arnold, I don't want to pronounce his name wrong because I climb now. I'm messing up. Like climb that skyscraper
Oh,
on
like
Netflix.
China or
And
Dubai
there-
or something?
Yeah, and he's
that's
like, I got
insane.
paid an embarrassing amount of money, but I told him I would have climbed it for free. I just wanted to climb the building. He's like the best. Like so, sure, there's going to be people that go to play their sport and they're in it for the money, whatever it is. But the best traders, the best at any profession, they're doing it for the love of the game. They're in it for the long haul. They're extremely resilient and they're obsessed with it. So 100%, you got to like what you're doing. If this is just the next thing in between drop shipping or some passive
done.
get rich quick,
Just stop.
dude, just wrap it up. Just
Yeah,
wrap it
wrap it
up.
up,
Like
bro.
just get out now. It's not that.
I think
It's
you can
like anything
be
else.
too smart for trading. And like I have guys that I think are smarter than me. Like if we took an IQ test, he probably would score higher than me. And I think that the over analyzation, or if that's the word, over analyzing of everything that smart people do, they want everything to be perfect. Like when a surgeon tries to become a trader, the surgeon is used to everything in the operating room being exactly where it's supposed to be. The scalpel next to this, puts his hand out here, gets the scissors cut. Give me, you know what I mean? It's perfect.
There's so much gray in trading.
You come into trading, bro. It's like hanging out with your blue collar uncle being the surgeon.
Maybe
You know what I'm
we'll
saying?
maybe
You're
we'll
gonna
cut
sit down
this
and smoke a
artery,
cigarette.
maybe we won't.
Yes,
I don't know.
Right. In a way, you have to like approach it with that understanding, because if you are even half smart, you'll try to be smart, and then that'll make you try to be too smart. You'll miss your trades.
Also,
You'll overanalyze.
Very smart people don't like to be told what to do
Or be wrong.
Or be wrong.
and that's all that this is.
That's the thing. It's
Yeah, it's a
like
great point.
perfectionism.
Yeah.
part
Yes.
about it.
I think really intelligent guys that I've talked to in trading and in finance, and they've like some of them can articulate it. They're so intelligent and they like to be able to exercise so much control and have predictability in what they do that they struggle so much with this just random on the short term, more consistent on the long term paradox that is the markets, the very dynamic markets. Like I've talked to guys that are super intelligent, way smarter than me, and they're like, that's the spot. I think the guys that are like just really disciplined and really good risk tolerance, not nearly as, mechanical in their thinking or analytical. They're like, yeah, whatever, didn't work today, I'm on to the next one. And the guys are like, wait a minute, what was this? This is insane. Meanwhile, it's the market doing whatever it wants to do all the time. And that's so difficult to work with. So I think maybe really intelligent people, you could start to struggle with some of that. Probably have a great understanding of probabilities, the nature of them.
Yeah, but they're going to want it to be perfect.
And it's
Never
so
perfect.
it's so dynamic, which is one of the toughest things for me, and I think so many. It's
They'll do
difficult.
I think you'll see guys will do macro analysis and then put out, like analysts will put out price targets on stocks or indices or whatever. And it's like, to them, that is based on fact. PE ratios, float of shares, free, like all these things are fact to them, but it discounts that short term, in today's market, algorithmic and zero DTE bullshit going on. You have algos driving the market, zero DTE options moving indices, all at the same time with Trump as president that could tweet something or do something.
Anytime. Yeah,
so like those
yeah,
three
that
things
is-
There's too many
alone,
variables. Like
smart people just might as well sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You know what I'm saying?
Tough to deal with that.
But I think what's good about smart people is they can, some of them, learn what you're saying, which is to be better losers, to be less perfect. If you really want it, if you really want to stop being a doctor, pay off your student loan debt and have freedom and hang out with your kid because he's 8 now and you missed all 8 years of his life cutting people's brains open, maybe you need to be more flexible
And learn how to take direction.
and learn how to take direction. Yeah, like sit down and shut up because there are people
This
that
is
are,
how it's done.
this is how it's done. Well, that's hard in trading too because there's sometimes guys that are younger than you that have more trading experience than you, and then you're like, what the like? You as well. We all have guys that are older than us have to come to our community. I love those guys.
Yeah.
When they come to me and they're like, I just want to learn. I'm leaving my job. I'm like, dude, shout out to you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, because you probably look at me like I'm a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
But what they see in me is the younger version of themselves, I
Right.
think, and that motivates them.
Totally agree.
Totally. Okay.
I have a question for Clay, if I could ask.
Absolutely.
So you see, obviously, FX proper firms have blown up. There's hundreds and hundreds. And now futures. There's a lot of prop firms dedicated to futures. How come we don't see options and how come we don't see a lot of equity-based prop firms?
Starting to come.
Yeah, I think they
also
are on rolling out from what I understand.
Slowly,
But yeah.
I don't know if that's something that you've looked at and
Yeah,
have
we
run
have.
into.
What was that announcement like?
Top 1 options.
So it was CME made the announcement that 50 of the biggest stocks will be able to be traded through futures contracts, which basically just means that instead of having to go through Centerpoint or Sage Trader and locate shares to short a stock, you can just go to the CME or a prop firm through the CME and click sell. You don't have to find the shares. You're going to trade it the same way you trade contracts now. They're going to reprice it so it'll be equivalent. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
you
it
won't
could
need
be.
an equity prop firm.
Right.
You'll need a futures prop firm because you'll trade the equity in the future
And
space.
what does this go towards what we've been saying? Adaptation. Like literally
Right.
just things
I mean, I made that
change.
video when that news came out. I took it from Michael Patak because he posted on Twitter. My video got more views than him. So even in the adaptation of that information, which was new, like it's already exciting some people, and then some people like glazed over it. They didn't. They don't care as much because they're not being willing to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I love to trade stocks. You know, I always have.
I think
I
there'd
think
be
this could be
more
huge.
risk factors too, like with gaps.
Well, you
and-
put limits in.
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah,
what you're
so that
saying.
would-
No
it would be
earnings plays or stuff
or
like that.
only
set of
day
rules
trade it.
around it. You know?
Right. Like that's what I said to you. Close trades at the end of the
Right.
day.
Yeah.
You can play
for
earnings, but you got to
Yeah.
play it between market hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one of the things that also, if I could change anything in the, maybe this will be our final point here. Like anything you could change with futures prop, I would say it would be swing trading. Like I'd like to be able to swing trade my futures prop, but no firm offers that. You'd
Well, the
have to do
margin
it for-
requirements are so
Right.
bad.
So-
Yeah. So back to like
Back-
the
back
real,
to the real brokers.
stuff, right? For those that like, well, why can't you, trade
Yeah.
overnight? How much does it cost to carry a position?
Well, Robinhood,
overnight?
I trade futures on. I need to have $50,000 to trade a mini. You know,
one
my-
mini.
to trade one mini, right?
Yeah.
Do you do
for
many
overnight.
swing trades or
I do.
overnight?
Yep,
Okay.
I swing trade futures.
There
Yep.
you go.
In my Robinhood account, which is relatively new. It's a multiple 6-figure account that I have, and they open it up. I started swing trading it, but you need a lot of cash
You need
to
that
be able to
Robinhood
trade
Gold
these
card
things.
next year, so you can get us into
I've
some
been waiting.
Robinhood.
I don't know why I don't have one yet.
Yeah.
So this
So-
is to Robinhood if you're listening.
Yeah, Vlad, come on.
I did have one more question. I don't know if
Yeah,
I
go.
can ask.
Throw that in, and then let's go back to what would everybody change.
So we saw this regulation of metals and oil in light of the recent Mideast conflict. And we just saw that Top One had regulated those contracts. I thought for the most part that you guys weren't regulating it yet because you guys had a consistency rule, and we just saw those restrictions come down. Could you speak to that a little bit for us?
Yeah, I mean, I just, and I was actually on Zach's the prop for match stream. I was like, man, I think there's something's gonna happen in Iran, and it did. And I think it's much. And that was actually my call to do that, so I'll take the credit for it. For if anybody wants to throw rocks at anybody, I would rather play it safe and see what happens, especially when it comes to gold, silver, oil, because it's so unpredictable with that conflict, rather than be put in a position where we're like super in the red and then having to deny pay. We wouldn't do that. We'd figure out a way around it, but that's exactly what happened with
You're managing risk.
right. So it just came down
As a-
to the
as a
risk
business, as a
management
firm.
of it. And hopefully too, by the time this podcast comes out, we'll already have gold back available and silver. I don't know. That's more.
I kind of like it. Like, I mean,
Right.
I'm curious what your perspective is with that question because, like, I feel like I don't want to waste
Great
time.
question too, by the way, for sure.
I don't want to waste time with a prop firm that may not pay me out. Like at this point, I have way too much experience, and like for my community, I would never push a firm that would even be close to denying a payout.
Right.
So if all the firms are blocking these metals, and then you're going to go searching all the firms on Prop Firm Match website to find the one firm that still allows you to trade silver today, and you buy with them, why are you not thinking, am I even going to get this payout? If every other firm is saying they're shutting this down right now, and I just found a little wiggle room in,
Right.
you know what I mean? So I feel like that's where a little smarts
Yeah,
go a long way.
absolutely. And it's still open for anybody who wants to trade cash.
Yeah.
It's wide open. But if you're going to be trading somebody else's money, there's going to be rules.
And these rules are, like you said it before, they're crazy compared to what the prop firm rules in a real prop firm would be.
And also, most people don't realize that the leverage in silver is way different than the leverage in gold. Silver used to be what, $30 an ounce, and
Now
now
it's at 100.
It's quadruple, right? And it's 5-to-1 leverage where on a micro, whereas it's 10-to-1 on everything else.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I said to Matt, my partner. I was like, dude, over the weekend, I was like, dude, I think we should do this because, like, I'm happy we compete with other firms and other plans and rules and pricing and stuff, but trying to compete with the market itself is like a losing battle. It's not something a fight I want to pick. You know what I mean? For that reason.
So as a leader at a prop firm, you see the volatility in metals and now oil being overarchingly more risky and less fruitful than it's benefiting traders.
Yeah, definitely. And then, you know, it creates a YOLO environment too.
YOLO
If it's just pumping up, then people were upset because they're like, oh, my plan was just to buy
I didn't
gold.
trade silver. Like, I didn't even think about switching what I was doing as silver was ripping. And maybe that's me not taking advantage of an opportunity in markets. But because it's an indice or it's an asset that I'm not comfortable with, like the indices, my brain never even said, go trade that.
I traded it in my cash account.
I knew you did. That's why I'm saying.
It went very, very low.
But I think for the amateur, I'm going to buy a prop account and try to get this on silver. I mean, and like you said, they're just buying at the open and holding it. It's like that.
Yeah.
Now we're back to the beginning of this podcast. Bad habits. Like, why are you, like, you should have something that already works. You shouldn't be chasing silver because now it's at 60 and it might go to 100. It might, but is that where you're going to make consistent? I actually have a great example of this. I got a guy in the Black Shirt Club right now. You're going to meet him in Tampa. He was at the event last year. His name is Dave. Dave crushed it with props trading metals, and the metals have dried up a little bit the last couple of weeks until this Iran thing.
Yeah.
As the metals have dried up, he's not finding consistency anymore. And I pointed to him and I said, bro, it's because you were capitalizing on an opportunity that is very short-lived. It's not that consistent setup, that consistent.
Gold did nothing for years.
11 years, 13 years.
Nobody traded oil. Was a better trade for a long time. And then
100%.
oil lost its appeal. Everybody went over to NQ. That's been the hot baby for a while, and then it became gold. If you haven't been trading long enough, you haven't seen that transition.
It happens all the time.
Happens all the time.
And then we'll go back. But I think the commodity trade in general, to trade futures in the commodities, or trade commodities as futures contracts, is the way to do it. So I don't fault people for trying to find edge in the market, but just like you said, have realistic expectations. Like the firm has to protect themselves.
Right.
Yeah. You got any take on that?
No, without trailing too long, I think there's no one wrong or right way to go about it. I tried my hand a little bit, but I was sitting from the sidelines and I did think maybe down the road I'd like to develop as a trader where I can try to capitalize on this. But if you're not somebody who's experienced in hopping across different instruments, different markets as they start to move to trade momentum and volatility, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing trading silver or gold out of nowhere? You didn't do it in demo. You didn't do it, with low risk. Why are you doing it with high risk on the line?
You need to know the personality of the asset you're trading.
We
They
had
all
about
trade
50% of our mentorship group long oil. I was telling him Friday afternoons. We've been doing it for 3 weeks on their cash account, buying it Friday, selling it Monday if the war happens. And that trade ended up being pretty fruitful for the guys that were long last weekend.
Hopefully they sold it as soon as the open.
Hopefully, because it's still gapped up 10%.
Yeah.
It still came
Well,
back down.
back down,
Well, but the point there is, like, there's plays. We're not faulting anyone for trying to take advantage of it, but, like, is it in your scope? Do you have the instrument? Do you have the bandwidth? Do you have the capacity? Do you have the financial?
Because you could spread yourself pretty thin.
Quickly. That's what I'm saying. Very quickly. I got this prop account. I do this in Asia like Tanner, and I got this prop account for London. I'm copy trading 5 over here, but I swing trade those, and I got my cash account. It's like, dude, where are you getting? Are you getting payouts, or are you just doing all this?
And for full-time professional traders, I mean, this is what I sit on all day, right?
Different.
But a lot of these people have full-time jobs, and they have this and that
Correct.
and other things going on, right? You got to cap your productivity a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, let's go around. One thing you would change about prop firms or a prop firm, you can either pick a specific prop or just in general across the industry. Chris, you're smiling. You already got an answer?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get rid of trailing drawdowns in general.
Okay.
I
End
mean,
of day and intraday.
Get rid of it, period.
Burn it.
Yeah.
Burn. Okay.
I guess I'm going to...
No, don't steal it. Come on.
Well, okay. More static accounts.
Ooh, good one.
They like don't exist.
Zach said that.
basically.
Zarb been talking about that.
Like
Yes.
I've only seen one. It's the Apex one, which is like a $600 static loss. It's like you have a very small threshold.
Okay.
But I also see the other side of the coin now. Obviously, like being in the space of like how much risk is like someone just YOLOs instantly on the first day, gets it above it, and goes. So it's like somehow some way to earn the static account after like maybe even like a multi-step eval type deal, right?
That's an
It's
interesting
like,
idea.
You know, something like that. I think that would be unique.
Okay.
I'm going to sound like I'm asking for rules here, but I think this is the biggest point of contention between props and traders right now. We're seeing it on Twitter, and I was talking about it before. Some firms are starting to get clearer with it. Seen it with Top One, with these new accounts. What are the upper limits? What are the upper limits for, churning accounts? Where is the cutoff? Where is the circuit breaker for evals, for funded accounts? Max amount per amount of time. If there's a style of trading within the accounts, what is it? Do they have to have a stop loss? Can they not use the full contract size? And I think that would really lay out what traders can and can't do, would clear up expectations. I think by asking for that as a trader, and I work with props, and by traders forcing that hand, it's going to be tight. It's going to be pretty tight. But I do think just like when you're paying for a product, you want to know what you can and can't do. The rules are clear. That part, I think, for better or for worse, is necessary. We're seeing more and more of it, but I think that will give a lot of clarity. And I think it will really take away this argument between sim farming, churning, actually trading, ROI game. Here's here's what you pay, here's what you can get, here's what you can do, and that's clear cut. It will change as markets change, right?
I feel like you're stained by so many sim farmers and having to talk to them all the time that's where your brain always goes.
Well, dude, that's the big part, right? This prop firm State of the Union, that's the big part. It's what everybody's
big
arguing
negative.
about.
Yes.
So, for better or for worse, traders are forced in the hand of prop firms, which they should do also, but the responsibilities, on the prop firm to say, hey, here's what we're going to allow. And I've shared that feedback with the Top One team quite a bit, ahead of some of these accounts, like, hey guys, everybody's going to push it. And, I understand. I'm not faulting traders. I'm not saying sim farmers are bad. They're saying, here's my, investment. Here's what I think I can do. This is a game. Maybe they say prop firms are the devil. Go for it, man. Do whatever you want to do. So I think there needs to be that circuit breaker, that limit to say, hey, you're okay up to this point. Here's where you would not get paid out. Same as breaking a rule, and going too far. And I think it would just really end a lot of this argument and disagreement. We can get back to trying to trade, trying to press it as much as you want to press it. And again, not to say that things won't change, that rules won't change, that adjustments won't be made as they go. They certainly will at a fast pace as we continue to see. But that from more firms would, I think, be solid.
You could ask for any rule and you want more rules. Okay, got it.
Listen, I'll draw a quick example, right? I'll throw a name. Yeah. I've never touched Apex. I don't watch too much about what's going on with them, but I did see a bunch of hype. They rolled out all these new programs, new Apex, no denials, automatic payouts, end of day trailing drawdown. All that stuff seems great. And they had just this big dilemma about somebody doing all these things and, churning through accounts and spending so much. They didn't lay out what the upper limits are. So with these new accounts, how many? You're able to copy trade 20. You're able to blow through a lot of them quickly. How many is too many? What's that? And I think traders want that, right? Yeah. So
some of them,
majority.
Some of them.
You're allowed to blow through as many until you're a liability to the firm.
Bingo.
And again, I know this is a tough piece because I understand from the firm perspective, right? And someone's going to comment, well, the firms don't want to do that because they don't want to limit the losing traders who are just YOLOing accounts and never taking payouts. They only want to limit the traders that are, YOLOing accounts and then taking payouts from it. I understand, but it's getting to a point where it really needs to be more clear. And I think that's what we're seeing from firms. I love to see it on these new accounts. So,
which it's much better to avoid that controversy altogether.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I agree with that. I think my take on this, a little different perspective, is prop firms aren't going to go anywhere, right? You're seeing more accepted, and like Kraken just bought crypto one, right?
Yeah, Breakout, yeah.
So different brokers are coming into the space as well. So it's not going anywhere. So I think for the trader customer, my hope is 2026. It's March now, so maybe by 2027, people value customer service, a good product, reliability, rather than the past 2 years, which was what's the cheapest price and the easiest rules. That's just clearly a race to the bottom. And what ends up happening, the firms can't pay those people out. And then it's a big Twitter drama.
Product delivery
it's like
sucks.
a revolving door that happens every 4 to 5 months.
But it's because you're at the bottom, like you're saying.
Because it's at the bottom, right? It's just
a great
like
point.
when the marketing is just around what's the cheapest with the easiest rules.
Well, then look at the customer you get with that too.
For sure. right? So rather than like something that's a decent cost, maybe not the cheapest, not the most expensive, we try to price ourselves within that range where it's definitely affordable, but not over the top, but where we value customer service and like, what you're going to get, which I think is what I'm saying is people are looking for more value rather than just like the cheapest, easiest, and reliability.
So funny you say that. Literally one of the last things somebody in my community said before I got here was, you should talk to Clay about why they're more expensive than the other, right? Literally.
Right.
How do we as community managers and leaders, how do we raise the bar with the customer? And what position can we take to help them see that value?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, would they rather eat like a McDonald's burger or like an actual grass-fed?
You want a steak.
Right, or a steak, you know what I mean? So me personally, I'd rather pay more to get something better that I know is going to do better
it's
for
about the
my
denial.
body.
I
Right?
would just say you pay less, you probably get denied.
So here's
do you want to fly on Spirit Airlines? Or
Correct.
do you want to fly on a good one? Right?
So this is the position I used to take. I would say, hey, go buy a bunch of Apex evals because you're not consistent, you're not profitable. Waste your money there until you actually are consistent and profitable. Then you're going to want to hop over to a better firm.
Yep.
Right.
Great point.
Yeah,
That's
and I understand the
generally-
question too, because like so people have limited amounts of money, or maybe they've blown through a bunch of accounts and like haven't taken it seriously at first, and that's like the arc for everybody that gets in the game. So looking for still how can I get that payout that I haven't hit yet, but I want to get at the cheapest thing, but like that risks getting the payout or drama or something around it, right?
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I think because we've been around long enough. So, I mean, Top One Trader's been around since 2003 is when we started, 2002, 2003, and then TOF almost a year now, which most people didn't think we would make it this long, right? So
Not 30 or 60 days. I thought that was
Right,
the call
exactly.
out.
Hey,
Wait, did Fred Simba say something about that? I forget. What Fred said about that.
I think the pendulum's going to swing back to where, or hopefully not back because it's never really been there, to where people value good business rather than cheap and fast.
For sure. Okay. Good takes. Good takes. You ready for the final thing?
Oh, that wasn't the final one?
This is the final.
No, there's another one after this too.
You have to give me 1-sentence answers. We're going to run through each prop firm. You can say whatever you want, but you can't say more than 1 sentence.
Cool.
No long-winded answers.
That's gonna be tough for me.
I'm looking at you.
Sorry, guys.
Mr. 5-minute voice note.
I want to say one
Can we
thing.
get a button?
Yeah, I'll time you. We'll go around, and then we'll be as politically correct as possible. Okay, Chris. Since you mentioned Apex, let's start with Apex.
Inexpensive.
Okay. Tanner.
Good for scaling, bad for rules.
I'm going to say the craziest marketing campaign the prop firm space has ever seen. At that price and to market,
You said one sentence.
it is 1 sentence. It's a comma.
It's a run-on sentence.
No, all I was gonna say, to say in your marketing no more payout denials is wild.
Yeah.
To like have your marketing team approve that, considering it insinuates you've denied a shit ton of payouts, it blew my mind to see that.
Like 5 cents.
Okay.
Objectively, the most difficult prop firm accounts to trade based on rules. I don't know what the rule set that dropped a day ago is. Sue me, guys. But objectively, the most difficult prop firm to get a payout from.
Unclear rules.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good answers on Apex. My funded futures.
Never traded them.
Unexperienced with them as well. I've never traded them.
Same.
Have never traded them, but they do have one massive payout cap account, which looks pretty interesting.
Okay.
So,
that is-
Thank you, Encyclopedia.
Yeah.
yeah. So,
The prop space.
so
traded them, but I know this.
I'd
I know
say
everything about them.
Maybe
Well, it's 37WA.
Right. Some paragraph C.
they've got an intraday trailer drawdown account in the funded with a big upside cap. So I'd say that.
Clay.
That's my sentence.
I never traded them in FX, but I like their leadership. I think he gets a lot of stuff on Twitter and stuff, but he seems like a good business owner and good CEO.
Okay.
I'll give him props.
Take profit trader.
Well, I don't like trailing drawdown in a funded account and not having it in an evaluation. I feel like that's a bait and switch.
Great take.
Reliable. I think they're a staple in the space, and they've been here for a while.
Great take, too. No drama.
I was going to say reliable, no drama, been here, stay out of all the BS. I'll go with harder rule set, a longer evaluation, 5-day, bigger upside cap once you get past that.
Good Facebook ads.
Nice. Okay. That
Clay
tells you.
Clay study and take,
What
Rob.
are we watching for the competition?
Takes notes.
Top Step.
I love Top Step because they're super scalper friendly. I can take quick trades. I'm a scalper. If I take a winning trade in 5 seconds, it's not a big deal. I like that.
Okay. Great point. Next.
He's gonna Hulk out.
That's what it looks like.
I like the rules. They're simple. I don't like how many hoops they've had to change and jump through because of everything that's happening.
Yeah, I would say I don't like how they treat some of their people.
Bad customer service.
Bad customer service. Yeah, good product, bad customer service.
Yep. I think credit where it's due. Being the OG, it was my intro in. I was on Top Step TV in the past. Disappointing turn of events that I don't think they wanted to go the way that it went over the last year with platforms and everything else. Wrap it here. But disappointing the way that it's.
No, I think they wanted
continued
that
to go.
brokerage to blow them up, and now it's backfired in a way.
For whatever it is, that was the by far leader. Nobody
And
even
Silver came out of nowhere to
remotely-
fuck them.
Well, that and a lot of other things, but disappointing because I'd love for that to be what it was, and maybe it will be one day down the road.
That was very nostalgic to say it that way. Go ahead.
OG in the space.
Yeah. Okay. Tradeify.
I mean, a fairly consistent, stable firm. You get what you pay for.
That's a very mixed statement.
As much as Simba doesn't really like us for whatever reason, I still have respect for Tradeify, and I think they're a solid firm, to be honest.
I mean, I don't have any customers complaining about
they're
them.
pretty reliable. I honestly like.
I think with their new rules, some of the firms, including My Funded Futures, like make it too complicated to understand which accountant do I need for this and that. Like, so I don't love some of the rule changes. I miss the OG straight to funded, But yeah, could say more on that, but we'll leave it there.
I'd say
Love you,
innovative. I'd say innovative. Same thing. We all for top one took a ton of heat from those guys. I think really innovative. I think they stick their neck out and lead the way in a lot of areas, and I respect them a lot for doing that. They came over to instant funded, some of the eval stuff, and I think crypto, different platforms. They're very quick to continue to innovate. So I like that. Comes with a risk, and from a trader perspective as well, but innovative. That's my word for them.
Innovative like Temu One. No, there it is. But I like that answer, and yeah, I mean they crush it. So like I think Brett took our first payout too.
Remember that?
That was
Yeah, I
pretty,
do
that was
remember
pretty
it.
epic.
Brett Simba
Matt
takes
tried to
his
give him a
first
shout
payout.
out.
Yeah.
And then
he
it
was
just-
such a
but-
dick about it, bro.
Yeah.
was such a dick about
But hey,
Everybody
they-
plays the business game the way they want to
know.
play it,
Right,
right?
exactly.
they're
I don't
just-
get involved in
Under
that.
the rug by now too. I hope
Yeah.
if Brett watches this, he's like, all right, everything's chill.
Yeah, I don't get involved in it and the drama. Neither does Matt. That's not how we roll, and I think that's why we built some good relationships and stuff. But they have really good branding and are super innovative. So I respect them for sure.
Lucid.
Lucid, I think, has a great reputation now. I would say breakout firm.
Breakout
They're
firm.
kind of they're getting a lot of traction fast.
Okay. Good answer.
Honestly, one of my top picks besides Top One Futures.
Okay.
Like I have no issues with them. AJ seems like a good.
I was
CEO,
just
too.
going to say, my compliment is not to their accounts because I've never traded them, but it's to AJ. He seems like a
seems
normal
good.
dude,
Yeah.
like you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we'd get
Yeah.
along.
Yep. I don't mean to piggyback it, but same thing. I just started trading them last month. Payout process was the fastest that I've seen so far. Was instantaneous to get approved and hit the account.
Well,
But yeah,
it's fast.
Clean dashboard. So again, like newer, but really seem like they're doing the right thing. I was super impressed.
does Tradeify beef with Lucid?
I don't think so.
No,
Why?
I think they're friends.
Why
think
did
they-
Tradeify beef with us, but then Tradeify don't beef with Lucid?
I think it's more of this.
Is it because I'm short?
I don't want to give the game, man. It's this big fake Twitter.
It's a bunch of
beef,
fake.
right?
Because you
It's
saw
this
Simba
argument.
and Michael were hanging out having drinks.
Yeah.
Everybody's friends off the internet.
Everybody's hanging,
No,
together.
I was just kidding
and
when I
stuff,
called you a
but-
stupid Jew on the internet. Austin. I was just kidding. I was just kidding when I put your face on that milk carton and called you racist. If we see each other in person,
you
I'll be
were
your
hanging out
friend.
with Bugatti last night, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Your take on Lucid?
Lucid. Yeah, I love their logo.
Yeah.
Great branding.
Pretty
Yeah.
dope,
Yeah.
Yeah, products names are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like a lot of-
For sure.
yeah.
I think they're solid. I've never traded with them, but
Same.
I look
I
at
haven't
it from
tried it
like
yet.
branding perspective, rule sets, that kind of thing.
It's good. Alpha. You tried Alpha yet?
Nope.
No.
No clue.
No take.
I actually looked at them the other day, but no, they looked expensive.
Yeah.
But I think they have some unique rules from what I was looking at. But I don't know. I'd have to ask the encyclopedia about it.
Honestly, the encyclopedia is blank on that one outside of fantastic marketing. I see
Like they have
those
every
they do have
micro
marketing.
influencer.
Dude, every scroll of every other one on Instagram is another person, promoting
Targeting you.
They got me, man. But no, I don't know enough about them to say anything good or bad.
Yeah, I don't really know much about them. I do know for their FX side, and they have a very similar. They started about the same time we did in Forex, so
Nice.
very similar arc, but I don't know much about them.
No. Okay. Legends is a firm that goes around. Anything to say about
You're going
that?
to start getting into the woodworks.
I'm
here.
getting
not
into the
gonna
little.
know.
It's okay. No, run through them. No, I don't have
Going
anything on that
backwards
one.
now.
at all.
I don't know.
Nothing. Yeah, so I think like something that's interesting to me is there are people who push firms that I've never heard of, and like they have big communities, and like that to me seems very disingenuous. Big influencer should push big firm. Big influencer pushing small firm seems misaligned.
Cash grab.
Seems might be a salary in there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, now I think we're done.
What about Funded Next?
Aren't they out of business?
No.
Which one was the one that went out?
Funny
My-
tips or-
Funny Ticks. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was
I can't do.
funding
If you put
pips
funded
into
in your
funding
fucking
ticks.
name, I
So
cannot keep it
Funded
straight.
Next, I like because they can work with a lot of countries that are normally banned by U.S. firms.
Okay,
So
cool.
if I have clients in my community who are in a banned country,
Taiwanese, the Filipino people
whatever
love
it might
you,
be,
Chris.
I usually direct them towards Funded Next because they don't have those same rules.
I've never used them. Again.
No.
I haven't traded them, but they got a pretty aggressive daily payout style account. So I will say that.
Okay.
We're not
Yeah,
gonna,
I don't know much.
Do you have
about
any
them.
more?
Top one futures.
I mean, we talked enough about top one futures. I wasn't going to say it. Okay, fine. Give your top one futures.
I love Top One's branding. I think they're buttoned up, and I've always as a marketer by trade for a long time, I appreciate the work you've done on your branding and the platform, and it's all just clean and really put together.
Yeah.
I'm big on people, and I do think like the people behind Top One are just epic, and just you guys have done nothing but treat us well, and a lot of traders well. It's like you guys are transparent, and the customer service is the best in the game. There's hands down, no one else has better customer service than Top One.
I don't think many other firms put sustainability as much as the forefront as you
You
guys.
stole mine, man.
For better or worse, too. We've
For
taken
better
a lot
and
of heat.
fucking worse. There aren't many people that will run a business and take it. Like I run my business where I would pay my employees before I pay myself. I'm not going to
Same.
align with a firm that's not going to treat people that same way. Again, not to dog Top Step, but the way they treated their affiliates is the opposite of what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Versus I'm going to help a firm grow, and that firm's going to help me in a mutually 50-50. It can't be 60-40. It has to be 50-50. And if you're putting sustainability first and I put my brand first, now we're 50-50. We meet in the middle. You want to add that?
I think the balance of sustainability, I'll have to change it now. The balance of sustainability and innovation, creating an extremely competitive, trader-focused, product. I think as traders, I'm going to go longer than a sentence, sue me guys, watch it in 2-speed. As traders, there is a piece where we say, hey, how much are we paying? What are the rules set? How much going to get paid out? What is the platform? What is the product? That's what I want. And I think Top One from the beginning has tried to be as aggressive as they possibly can while taking it on the chin like they did this week and say, hey, we got to take a step here for sustainability. Like anybody listening to this in the comment before, Chris asked a great question about metals. It's in Top One's interest to just not do that and take on more risk and maybe run into the ground or not be able to pay people out and collect everybody, blowing themselves up on gold. They've taken a lot of those steps to say, hey, you know what? Got to be sustainability focused. We're going to be here for the long run. So I love the balance there.
And then I would say probably family, like the dudes I work with, Matt, Bryson, my brother is literally my family, dude, the other founders. And you guys are super close with us. I mean, I don't hate going to work every day. Some days it's super stressful, but dude, we're on huddles and Zooms literally all day long.
Yep.
So, and then being the relationships we built around that, like with you guys and our other partners is awesome. So
Can I add one thing to that for anybody else listening? Like not only just with us here and an actual family, Top One's door has been super open to the community. So Clay's been on my stream now multiple times, been on almost everybody's stream.
Yeah.
Actually,
not Chris's yet.
Coming though.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like trying to get him to talk and he's answering questions from the chat and he's utilizing that information to make decisions on, what the traders want.
The new accounts we came out with.
Yeah,
Was,
yeah,
like I took
lot.
some of the rules and suggestions from literally your stream.
So, I mean, for anybody listening, if you're looking for a spot where you have the founders, the CEOs, the people that are, making the decisions open to talk to you and
Just in the game.
Whether
not hiding.
No, whether you're a trader, whether you're somebody that makes content, I think there's a lot to talk about. So wanted to throw that bone.
Thanks, man.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I think this was a very good podcast. Nate, how long are we?
1:35.
All right,
Wow,
perfect. So, listeners, thanks for staying all the way through. We will make sure that there are discount links and links for the boys, of course, down below. So you can follow everybody, connect with everything, find the best deals for whatever prop accounts you need. But Chris, thank you. Tanner, as always, thank you. Zach and Clay, great job, boys. So, listeners, if you stayed all the way through, thank you as well. Make sure you're subscribed. We got another episode coming next Saturday.
Let's go.